every single Chatt Tech graduate that I've met out in the field has done very well for themselves.
98.7 Chatt Tech, where 98.7% of our students earn a career. On today's episode, we're going to look at film and media production, one of the hottest industries in Georgia. We're going to talk to an instructor, current students, and a graduate working in the industry. What we won't be doing is talking to you like you're in a 6th grade career day assembly.
Welcome to Chattahoochee Tech, where you can be a better you. Today we'll learn about the latest in broadcast technology, transmitting visual images and sound. It is television.
Can you get paid after going through the film and video production technology program at Chattahoochee Tech? Yes, you can.
So my name is Graham Smith. I currently am working as a video technician for a company called Visional that does corporate live events. And primarily I work with robo cameras, but I do all kinds of other things here and there and jump in with extra sets of hands with audio, lighting, LED walls, all kinds of different parts of that event space and production that's needed. I am full-time salaried position doing that, and it's working out very, very well for me so far. Every single Chatt Tech graduate that I've met out in the field has done very well for themselves. And one of them is actually a really good friend of mine. He graduated about 10 years before me, and I ended up interning for him because he was looking for an intern. And I applied for that internship, and as it turns out, he was a Chatt Tech graduate. So we interviewed, and then I came in and did an internship for that. But since then, since doing that internship, he calls me back all the time to help him with projects for his job. It's contracted freelance work, but there's that network, and that comes from both of us having gone to Chatt Tech, and we're able to talk about, oh yeah, I remember that teacher, yeah, and this, and remember the class when we did that, and there's that like surprise exam at the end of the semester for that class, and you're like, you're able to there's that camaraderie there, and there's a network there, and which is interesting because it's only a tech school. You think of like UGA or University State of Georgia or things like that, and those are cool schools, but Chatt Tech also has that same kind of network with people like that, and who are good. They work hard and they have those skills to do things, and they go out and do it. And so I think if you really want it and you go to Chatt Tech, you can definitely make it happen.
Let's meet some current students and find out what classes are really like.
My name is Pamela Dubrova. I have my own photography company specializing in corporate events, and I started in the program at Chattahoochee Tech because I wanted to learn video to add to my photography company.
I'm Justin Gerald. I am a student at Chattahoochee Tech, and I'm about to graduate with the TV and film production technology degree.
When people ask me, teach me how to use my camera, it's, well, you got to use your camera to learn how to use your camera. I can't just tell you. And I saw that in the classes too.
Pamela makes a good point. You have to actually do it if you're going to learn it.
In all the classes, they will show you how to do it. They'll give you examples of how to do it. They'll give you theory of how to do it, exactly why they're given the assignments, and then you have to do it. And it still can be frustrating because you have to do it, and that's how you learn to do it. Some of the things that I shot at the beginning, am I going to include in my reel? No. But some of the things, definitely. Everything I've done has been useful.
You really get to learn, like, okay, this is what a camera can do. This is what the end product will look like. And this is going into that. I now know, okay, I can shoot this scene knowing what the editor behind me is going to be able to do.
I know you're asking yourself, is a hands-on approach worthwhile? Will it actually help me in the real world? Let's ask Graham.
I was a second year student at Chatt Tech in the television production program. This other guy was a senior and he was about to graduate, but he had never touched Premiere Pro, which is a video editing software. And he's applying for this internship, but he spent 4 years at his university and had never even, didn't know anything about that. He's like, I don't know anything about that. And he never took a class on it, never nothing. I had spent 1 year at Chatt Tech and I was already in it. I was already in the program. I was not a master, but I knew how to keep up. I knew how to be more valuable to that employer. And I ended up getting the internship because of that.
The Film and Video Production Technology program at Chattahoochee Tech gives you practical experience from the very beginning.
My name is Meredith Muse. I'm the lead instructor for the Film and Video Production Technology program at Chattahoochee Tech. Our program is very project-based. We like to be hands-on because we have them for less time than the four-year institution would have them. Week number 2, you guys, they start on projects. We're running. We hit the ground running.
You pick up a camera, you touch a camera, you learn how to white balance, you learn how to focus, you learn how to zoom, you learn how to basically, all the basic functions of what a camera does, a modern camera. And then they do touch on like on-set etiquette and the shot protocols and things like that, things that the director and everybody's going to be calling out. In lighting, I really enjoyed lighting. You learn basically how to light different scenarios for, drama or interview or commercial or whatever it is. You really start to understand how lighting takes place and what the viewer is able to see. You learn some really solid editing techniques. You start out using Premiere Pro, which many listeners probably don't realize that's what a lot of TV shows are edited on. So obviously that's a very valuable skill in the industry with that.
In the Film and Video Production Technology program at Chattahoochee Tech, you'll be writing, shooting video, creating graphics, editing footage, and polishing products from the first semester to the last.
The biggest advantage that I got from school that's helping me now is being very hands-on with things, not just talking about it, but also being able to do it. There's a discussion of how you do these different things, but then you immediately go into the hands-on side of it and actually practicing it. I know personally other people who have graduated from other universities where they've had that theory and they've had that, they talk about it, but they don't really have the hands-on part of it. And they're like, man, I wish I had gone to Chatt Tech because I would have been able to get my hands on this stuff a lot sooner and be more prepared for the working world. So that's a huge advantage, huge plus of Chatt Tech is most of the work you do, pretty much all of it is talked about, and then it's actually practiced in real time. And by the time you're done, you know how to do it and you've done it. It's not just you've talked about doing it, but you've actually completed the process and done it, whether it's things in post with video or audio or setting up lights or punching up a switcher for cameras or just floor directing or, just having at least a basic understanding of how a set should flow and how production works and getting things done on time with deadlines and all of that.
I took narrative filmmaking. I really enjoyed that class. I didn't think I was going to because I don't enjoy writing or really like trying to come up with a story, but that was one of my favorite classes actually. You learn basically how a film is made from idea all the way to production. You have to turn in casting calls, you have to turn in, permissions to use properties that you film on. If you're using animals in your shoot, then you have to use those kind of permissions, children, all kinds of stuff. And they go in and they teach you how to use different programs on how to find actors, where to find actors, where to find free actors, because we're all students here. So it's all very valuable things that I feel like are going to really pay off.
What are the instructors like? Good question.
In all the jobs that I had in media, I always ended up being the person that was training people, and I loved it. I loved kind of introducing people into the field and, showing them how to create something that was, floating around in their brain and then making it, come to reality, I guess. And that was kind of when the light bulb went off, like, oh, this is a path that I can take. So, then I kind of sought out finding some teaching opportunities. We're really working hard to hone the skills and to give you something that's tangible to run with, because digital content or media and storytelling is not going anywhere. If anything, it's just going to blow up more than it already has. So we're trying to create the best possible visual storytellers that we can create.
The instructors, I realize that Meredith Muse and Tom Logan, another instructor, are great resources, and they've been really supportive of who I am and what I'm learning.
At Chattahoochee Tech, you'll learn from instructors who have hands-on experience in the industry.
It is a super unique environment in the fact that so many of the instructors that work here are so passionate about what they teach because they come from that field. You're getting a lot of instruction from people who literally have come directly from that field or still work in it. And, that's an insight that I think is just invaluable. And we pride ourselves on being super hands-on. I teach several of the production courses, and the first week is, hey, how you doing? And the next week is, let's grab this gear and go out and shoot video and then put it together. Let's work on figuring out how to be storytellers.
The way that she teaches is very understandable. So I appreciate that aspect because I work well knowing exactly what to do to how to learn it.
I techno directed and was running like sideline cameras for football games and like all manner of sporting events, through college. So I did a short stint, kind of interviewed at ESPN and went, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then, it was like, no, this is not what I want to do. So, it's like everybody, there was a lot of trial and error. I directed news for several years, and then I went to the marketing world and really kind of saw the other side of how you can wield these powers for influence and marketing and kind of branding and things like that. And I've done a lot of freelance in terms of just shooting stuff and editing stuff, mostly like live production, concerts and things of that nature. I kind of gravitated more towards the live production.
So let's say you decide to go through the film and video production technology program at Chattahoochee Tech. What can you do with your life after you're done?
There is no one definition for success in this industry. And I think that's what's so awesome and unique about it, is that you can find a niche and go with it. If it's something that you're passionate about or something that you're interested in, there's a place for you to do that.
So I have totally fallen in love with camera work, and ever since I picked up a camera in the first intro to TV class, it was like one of those broadcast over the shoulder cameras. But ever since I picked it up and started working on that, I fell in love with that. And so hopefully I will be doing camera work, assistant camera operator, and then eventually way on down the line, if I can prove myself, then director of photography or cinematographer is the top of that department.
There's 2 tracks that students can choose from. There's a studio technician track, which really focuses more on multicam production. So that would be not only your standard kind of broadcast, either sports or news, but also using multiple cameras in TV shows or live production, really trying kind of just covering all of those bases. And then there's a film technician track, and those students would take the narrative filmmaking class and the documentary filmmaking class and just give them a little bit more practice on the long form storytelling aspect instead of the little kind of one-off, minute to 2 minute type projects. So it's really a matter of what sparks your interest. And we pride ourselves on really giving students a very well-rounded experience. We go over lots of different types of projects, from PSA and commercial to those long form kind of documentary and narrative stories as well.
It sounds like the film and video production technology program covers a lot, doesn't it? But is it all worth it?
I think it's absolutely valuable to at least know all of those different processes, even if you're not going to do it yourself. To have an understanding of what your other guy on the crew is doing helps a whole lot. It makes you a lot more marketable. It makes your productions way easier. And that's something you don't really know until you experience it. But having the benefit of going to school at Chatt Tech and learning all those different things, being introduced to it, even if you don't follow through with that after you graduate, it still is really valuable to know some things about post work. Even if you're like, I'm never going to sit at a computer, I hate this, I just want to do cameras, or I just want to be on set all the time. That's cool, but it really helps you to understand what the next guy is going to be dealing with, when you had to deal with it yourself in school.
I believe what Chattahoochee Tech has taught me is the direction on how to further teach myself without getting bogged down with all the nonsense, because anybody can go onto, YouTube University and learn basically anything you want nowadays. But knowing where to know and knowing what questions to ask is what I've learned, which is extremely important because you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I think Chattahoochee Tech has helped me out tremendously in those regards, for sure.
For more information about the Film and Video Production Technology program at Chattahoochee Technical College, visit chattahoocheetech.edu. Thanks for listening to 98.7 Chat Tech, where 98.7% of our students earn a career. This podcast is a production of BG Admin.